Think about the wealthiest person you know. What do they drive? What do they wear? Most people imagine flashy sports cars, designer logos covering every inch of fabric, and massive penthouses. But the harsh reality of true wealth accumulation in America is completely different. The richest people around you don't look rich. In fact, they deliberately choose to look completely invisible. This isn't just a lifestyle choice or a quirky habit. It is a highly calculated, aggressive financial strategy known as stealth wealth. While the middle class spends thousands of dollars attempting to simulate prosperity, the ultra-wealthy are weaponizing their anonymity. They realize that in the modern economy, looking poor or hyper-ordinary is the ultimate defense mechanism for your capital. When you flaunt your money, you immediately paint a massive target on your back. You invite lawsuits, predatory financial products, lifestyle inflation, and toxic social expectations.
Today, we are tearing down the commercial illusions sold to you by Wall Street and social media influencers. We are exploring the exact psychological framework that allows the top 1% to build massive, quiet fortunes. If you have ever wondered why your savings account isn't growing despite your rising salary, your strategy is completely wrong. You are playing the game of looking rich instead of actually becoming wealthy. Over the next 15 minutes, we will break down the precise mechanics of how looking poor can accelerate your timeline to financial independence by over a decade.
Let's look at the classic middle-class trajectory. You get a promotion, your income goes up by 20%, and suddenly your subconscious demands a reward. You trade in your perfectly functional sedan for a luxury vehicle lease. You upgrade your apartment, start shopping at high-end boutiques, and display your success to your peers. Economists call this lifestyle creep, and it is the primary reason why professional Americans earning over $200,000 a year still report living paycheck to paycheck. They are trapped in a cycle of consumer validation. They buy depreciating assets with appreciating capital, sacrificing their future financial freedom for temporary status. The trap is psychological. Society conditions us to believe that money must be seen to exist. If you don't wear luxury brands or drive a premium vehicle, your social circle assumes you are struggling. This creates immense peer pressure to overspend. But true wealth is invisible. It is the investments you haven't cashed out, the real estate you own quietly, and the compounding assets. When you spend money to look rich, you are literally giving away your power. You are trading your sovereign time for the brief admiration of strangers who don't actually care about you. Think about the math. A $60,000 luxury car lease costs roughly $800 a month. If invested into a basic low-cost index fund compounding at 8% annually, that money becomes millions. The opportunity cost of status is staggering. Every single dollar you allocate toward looking wealthy is a worker you have fired from your financial army. Those dollars should be earning dividends, purchasing distressed properties, or funding private businesses. Instead, they are sitting in a dealership parking lot, losing 10% of their value the moment you turn the key. This is exactly what banks and luxury conglomerates want you to do. The entire consumer economy is engineered to separate you from your excess capital. They create artificial scarcity, seasonal trends, and exclusive memberships to exploit human insecurity. If they can convince you that your self-worth is tied to your clothing, they own your financial future forever. Consider the famous concept of the millionaire next door. Decades of data prove that the vast majority of American millionaires do not live in Beverly Hills or Manhattan penthouses. They live in middle-class neighborhoods, drive used domestic trucks or sedans, and buy their clothes from ordinary retail chains. They are completely indistinguishable from the average working-class citizen. They choose this path because they understand a fundamental truth. Buying items to impress others is a game with no finish line. There will always be a newer car, a larger house, a more expensive watch. Once you enter that competitive loop, your financial freedom is sacrificed to fuel an insatiable ego. You become a slave to your own lifestyle.
Furthermore,
Looking rich attracts unwanted financial friction. When you drive a high-end vehicle to a mechanic, your repair quotes instantly double. When contractors walk up to a home with visible luxury upgrades, their labor estimates skyrocket. The market automatically adjusts its prices upward based on your perceived net worth, taxing your vanity. By adopting a posture of stealth wealth, you eliminate this friction entirely. You negotiate from a position of perceived modesty. People treat you as an ordinary consumer, allowing you to secure fair pricing, avoid predatory targeted scams, and protect your profit margins. You operate underneath the radar of the consumer tax. True financial strength does not need validation. When your net worth crosses a certain threshold, the desire to prove anything to anyone completely evaporates. You find immense peace in knowing your bank accounts are loaded, your investments are compounding, and your time is entirely your own. You no longer look for applause from the crowd. The middle-class trap is designed to keep you running in place forever. But once you realize that the wealthiest people are hiding in plain sight, your entire perspective shifts. You stop looking at money as a tool for consumption and begin viewing it as a tool for autonomy. You realize that looking poor is actually your greatest competitive advantage. Let's transition to the next phase, the moment of realization. How do you break free from this consumer cycle? It requires a complete rewiring of your psychological relationship with money. You must learn to value assets over status symbols and safety over external validation. It is a quiet revolution within your own mind. As we dive deeper into the specific mechanics of the stealth wealth blueprint, remember that every massive fortune in America was built on delayed gratification. The individuals who control the economy are the ones who mastered the art of being invisible. Let's look at how this realization alters your financial trajectory. The turning point happens when you stop measuring your wealth by your income and start measuring it by your runway. Runway is the exact amount of time you can survive without working another hour in your life. If you earn $500,000 a year but spend all of it to maintain your image, your runway is zero. You are completely vulnerable. But if you earn $80,000 and live comfortably on $40,000, investing the rest, your runway grows exponentially every single month. You are purchasing your freedom from corporate leverage. You can look at any toxic work environment, any demanding boss, or any economic downturn and know that you are completely safe. When you internalize this concept, your relationship with shopping changes forever. Every time you look at a luxury item, your brain automatically calculates how many days of freedom you are trading for it. That $500 designer belt isn't just money. It represents days or weeks of your life that you must spend chained to a desk to pay for it. This realization is incredibly liberating. You no longer feel the need to keep up with the Joneses because you realize the Joneses are completely broke. Their luxury lifestyle is built on a mountain of high-interest credit card debt, massive car loans, and immense psychological stress. They are putting on a theatrical performance for an empty theater. True wealth builders choose a different path. They become anonymous shareholders of the global economy. Instead of buying consumer products from giant corporations, they buy shares of those exact same corporations. They let other people's consumption fund their retirement. They quietly collect dividends from the very people who mock their ordinary clothes. Think about the supreme confidence required to live this way. It requires a quiet ego. You must be completely comfortable with people underestimating you. In fact, you should welcome it. When people think you are ordinary, they leave you alone. They don't ask you for loans, they don't pitch you bad business ideas, and they don't target you for lawsuits. This invisibility creates a fortress of privacy around your personal life. In the modern digital age, privacy is the ultimate luxury asset. Everyone is broadcasting their lives, their purchases, and their locations on social media. They are inviting external chaos, jealousy, and cybersecurity vulnerabilities into their financial accounts.
Stealth wealth practitioners keep their assets completely hidden behind legal entities, anonymous trusts, and private accounts. They own nothing in their personal names, but control everything through sophisticated asset protection frameworks. If someone attempts to search their public records, they appear completely broke. Imagine the immense tactical advantage this provides. In business negotiations, your opponents assume you have limited resources, causing them to lower their guard. In personal legal matters, predatory lawyers refuse to take cases against you because there are no obvious assets to target. Your anonymity operates as an invisible shield. This strategic posture requires a complete shift from defensive saving to offensive investing. You are no longer hoarding money out of fear. You are accumulating it to deploy it with absolute precision. You look poor to the public so that you can act rich in the asset markets when the perfect opportunity inevitably presents itself.
Think about market crashes. When an economic recession hits, the consumer class panics. Their debt payments are due, their luxury leases are underwater, and they are forced to liquidate their investments at the absolute bottom of the market just to survive. They are wiped out because they had no financial margin. But the stealth wealth practitioner is completely calm. Because they have lived far below their means, they possess massive cash reserves and liquid assets. They look at a market crash not as a tragedy, but as a once-in-a-decade clearance sale on high-quality assets. They step into the chaos and buy up real estate and stocks at massive discounts. This is how true generational wealth is consolidated in America. It isn't built through a high salary alone. It is built by having the liquidity to buy when everyone else is forced to sell. And you can only possess that level of liquidity if you have spent years ignoring the flashing temptations of consumer culture. If you are feeling ready to leave this exhausting consumer routine behind and start building a real, bulletproof financial system, take a second to hit the like button on this video. It tells me that we are completely aligned and ready to build something serious together. And subscribe so you don't miss our next tactical wealth breakdown.